Hey you guys, what is up? I have an upload for you. This is kind of a fun one. This is actually with a deck that I don't really know what the cards do, and it's the Mismagius Terrakion deck that came out of the regionals tournament as the secret deck. And it's kind of a fun deck. I'm really not good with it, and there's some big misplays I make here, and I'll point them out as we go. But I think you should be able to catch on to him, and we should have a pretty interesting match. It's against Eels, which is one of the decks that this deck was designed to beat, so let's see how it goes. Anyways, I believe that he wins the flip, and he's going to get to go first, of course. And he level balls for the Cleffa, which instantly makes me think that he's not maybe running the best of decks, just Cleffa isn't really all that effective in this format, especially with X balls running around. But he ekes, and that's about it, so he's awake. I'm going to dual ball and see what I can get. And I'm not really sure what to go with here. So I decided to, I think, go for the Terrakion because I have the switch. So I feel fairly confident. And then I attach to it, which is weird. I should have probably attached to my active Mismagius and just dual drawed, which lets you each draw 3 cards. He's going to dual ball here, and he fails that. So I passed out attacking. The 3 cards could actually really help with your first Poltergeist 2 for a lot of damage. He junk arms 2 for a level ball. And with the level ball he grabs out Neil. One of the 2 cards he junk armed was a lightning energy, which means that he's going to be able to Dynamotor and get 3 energy and an Eviolite on his Zekrom turn 2, and on top of it all his last card is a pawn, so there's 6 fresh ones. And he's just going to dual ball twice. And there's another Dynamo, so right now I'm kind of up a creek without a paddle. So he's just going to retreat and just bolt strike me. So there's the first KO, and luckily for me I'm running Terrakion, which means I have a means of responding to this. And I'm just going to go ahead and pawn and cross my fingers for the fighting. I think this deck only runs 4, but I'm fortunate to hit one of them. I also benched the Smeargle and tossed down my Sky Arrow just so I'll be able to kind of use my Smeargle to my advantage for the rest of this game. And I'm just going to be able to retaliate, so there's a prize back. But as long as he has some Eels up on the field, it's not really going to be that favorable for me. He's going to bench another Zekrom, get out another Eel, which means that if he has the Lightning energy in hand, that he can just keep bolt striking me basically. And there's one. And he's going to be able to Dynamotor 2. And I believe he might have the Eviolite for this one. Nope, I'm wrong there, but still pretty nasty facing another Bolt Strike, but thankfully he doesn't have plus power catcher, so I avoid the knockout. I'm going to level ball and get out another Mismagius just because I know those Poltergeists are going to come in handy later on. I also attached the Psychic and Experience share, which really I should have been going big for the fighting energy. I miss it anyways, but I didn't know I'd miss it at the time, so that's not really something I'm liking that I did. But I do have the Experience share to preserve the energy, and I'm just going to be able to retaliate for 60 damage. So he's going to get some more Dynamotor energy on the field, and that's not good for me, and he's just going to be able to Outrage. So at this point, you see I don't initially do my XP share. I'm going to remember to do it in a second, but this is where one of the misplays comes in, is that when I go to use my EXP share, I grab the Psychic rather than the fighting. I already have the Psychic to pay the Poltergeist attack cost, and keeping those fighting in play is really, because you run such a low count, that's part of really how this deck works. And I guess I didn't really understand that at the time. We're going to see me dual ball out, and I think I grabbed the other Terrakion here as well, which is just sort of further proof of the fact that I should have kept the fighting in play. You see I only have 2 in my deck right now. So I grabbed Terrakion, and I'm going to pond. And see, there's another EXP share, which means that if I would have kept the fighting in, then I would have had it on the Terrakion if the Mismagius is KO'd before it. I'm going to Portrait for nothing. but I do see that I do have the KO with my Mismagius, however you want to say that name. I do have the catcher too, so I could take out an Eel, but right now I feel like that Zekrom hitting for 120 is a really big threat, and I'd just rather take that out. Besides, he already has 2 energy on the other Zekrom, and I figure just taking out all his attackers is just going to be easier at this point. So, there's that KO, and I'm tying it up at 4-4. And even though I don't really have any sort of board, I'm keeping this one in decent control. We see he does catcher me out here, which, you know, I didn't know it was going to happen, but it might change basically the way that things would work with the XP share thing that I kind of proposed before. He's then going to junk out two cards for an Eviolite, and this is the other Eviolite that I thought he was going to get. And once again, he punts an empty hand. So, we'll see what he can come at me with. He has a level ball, which he grabs out of Tynamo, which is not that big of a deal. And he benches the Thunderous. He's going to be able to Dynamo or 2. So now he has enough energy to Bolt Strike, and he has a little bit of energy on that Thunderous. And he's going to be able to plus power and KO me in one shot. And his Zekrom will take 30 due to the combination of damage reduction and damage addition from Eviolite and plus power, respectively. So, I'm just going to promote my Smeargle back up, knowing I can get another portrait and maybe get into something. I know he took a prize. His hand might be a little different after that punt and stuff. I hit the Super Rod, which I definitely want to play. And I'm just going to grab back Terrakion, Fighting Energy, and I actually grabbed Mismagius over the Terrakion, just figuring that I'm probably only going to be able to use one more Terrakion feasibly in this game. I'm also kind of unsure about what to do with my Poltergeist situation. I'm doubtful he has enough Pokemon in his deck for me to actually KO. So one of my thoughts was, well, Mismagius has another attack called Sleeping Spell, which does 30 damage and puts them to sleep. So I could catcher out the Tynamo or the Cleffa, probably the Tynamo, just because I don't know how mechanics work if you put a Pokemon to sleep. I guess Cleffa wouldn't be asleep, so it actually wouldn't work that way, but better not to catch a random person from PlayTCG.me just on that, and he might try and challenge me on it, and I don't want to have to look that up. So I'm going to Portrait, and off of that Portrait, I take the Oak, and I get some Pokemon out, which is nice. So one of the plays that I have is the Dual Ball and the Level Ball, so I should be able to get out some Pokemon. I'm going to grab out the Terrakion just because I already have the EXP share and I have the Juniper. And I think I play that Level Ball as well. I want to say I do. I think I should. I hope I do. But I don't. I guess I was holding on to it for I don't know what. It would have been nice to get a Mismagius out there just so I can kind of have something to set up with. And I'm just going to Sleeping Spell, so prize exchange still even at 3-3. And he's just going to attach to Thunderous. He's going to punt. So we've seen a lot of punts from him at this point. I know that's at least 3, maybe 4. So he's played a good amount of draw supporters, which makes me feel confident that I could use like late game ends and stuff like that, and maybe just kind of burn him out of resources is right now kind of my hope that, even though I don't have the board control, I can burn him out of essential resources and just kind of take multiple prizes with the Terrakion to kind of win this thing. So he's just going to do some Dynamotoring shenanigans. He's going to retreat into the Zekrom. And he does discard the Cleffa there, but I catch it, so it's not going to be a big deal. But there's the KO in response to me. So now it's down to 2-1, and I think there's only been like 1 or 2 turns now that we haven't exchanged KOs after the prize exchange started. So I'm just going to promote my Smeargle up again, who's been doing work in this game. I need, and see I Level Ball here for what ends up being a Mismagius, so I should have just done that last turn, because I could have evolved then if I did it this turn. And I'm going to have to Juniper away stuff, which kind of hurts, but at the same time is necessary. The other thing I could have done is gotten out another Smeargle and tried to use the switch to double Portrait. I do hit the Fighting Energy, however, which is fantastic. I also hit an N, which could be effective for the late game. So I'm feeling pretty confident about my hand right now. I'm going to level ball, and I'm going to grab out another Mismagius. I guess it's the right play, but at this point, how much does it really do for me? I'm going to junk arm 2 for the EXP share and attach it to said Mismagius. And now I'm just going to be able to retaliate, and at this point he doesn't have any more Zekroms, so I'm feeling pretty good. Thunderous can't one-shot me, and I could potentially one-shot something back. I also hit the other fighting, so I can land crush, and I still have the end, so I feel like I'm in great shape right now, despite the fact that I'm behind on the prize exchange. Anyways, he's going to be able to catcher me, which isn't good. So he's going to catcher me into my Smeargle, and he's going to punt, which that has to be the 4th punt. And he benches a 4th Zekrom, so kind of an interesting list, but he did get off the turn 2 Bolt Strike on me, and this has been pretty impressive and consistent damage output. He drops 2 lightning on it, and he's going to be able to Disaster Bolt KO me. So in comes Terrakion. He's got 1 prize left. This is the game plan. I'm going to have to end here. I attach the fighting energy, and I end us both to really low hands. I go to 2, he goes to 1, he's going to go to 2 after. And really, at this point, I don't have any other choice. I'm going to land crush, and that's KO. So it's down to 1 prize. Look at the top deck. It's a Juniper, so that's bad. I'm going to look at his discard real quick to see what his resources are. He's used up his junk arms, but if he has the catcher plus power, he's got the win. And there's plus power, so that'll be a good game. Make sure you guys rate, like, comment, subscribe, do your thing if you like this video, and I will catch you guys later.